What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Duftonbond, and I'm coming at you with a new video. A new update has just been announced, and I thought I would talk a little bit about it because I think it's going to change a lot of the ways that cards work in specific, which I like that. I think that the little tweaks and stuff to like Inferno Towers and Teslas, and like when they come out, it doesn't really change that much. It just gives you a slight advantage that in certain situations you can use. Since the last video, I've climbed a lot. I'm now at my highest, which is a 2936 trophies, which is pretty crazy. Was super excited about that. But let's hop into this balance change. So there was four things that So I wanted to hop onto the thing here. So the new Zap, and I think that this new Zap is really, really, really awesome. Just in the way that like Clash Royale is changing up the way that their game works. Previously, a Zap would be a card used mainly by higher level people, and this is what I found just because if you're playing as a lower level against higher level people, your Zap can't kill minion hordes, and it leaves them with like a bit of HP left, which is like not what you really want from a spell meant to clear those like low health minions. Just because if he has anything to tank, then those minions are still alive and they still do a ton of damage, and so it becomes harder to clear. And so that's why I think that investing that extra mana now, extra elixir into arrows just made it a so much better choice, just because the radius was bigger, it does a bit more damage, and you are just sure that no matter what the level of the minion horde is relative to your Zap or Goblin Barrel or anything like that, it will always kill. So now the damage is reduced by 6%, which means that it's never going to kill minion hordes. Probably still going to kill like spear goblins and goblins and stuff. But I think that this, the fact that it stuns targets changes the game totally. And it's like a mini freeze spell that does damage, which is going to be very interesting to see. Whether people will run, who knows, like Skeleton Zap in order to like counter like a Hog Rider push or something if they don't have like Tombstone to distract, just as like that that's not a good example just because skeletons wouldn't die to the Hog Rider anyways, but I think that like any of those big pushes that you have will just change totally if you get Zap, or just having your like Hog Rider be able to stay alive one more second because you zap their tower, and that can get you off like 400 extra damage, which is crazy. So I'm very excited to see that. Giant Skeleton, this hit points increased by 11, but the bomb decreased by 3 seconds. This is an awesome change as well, just because, or I don't know, giant skeletons used to take out everything like when they died, and it would be pretty frustrating if you built up a pretty large amount of like push, and then he just puts down one minion and that can just destroy it in its entirety. So I think the hit points increase gives it this new way of using it. I think previously it was used a lot more defensive, but now it's got more HP so it can get to the tower, and it still does that insane amount of damage to tower, and it's a great tank. So I think that it will be used as a very offensive card to play. You know, you put like your giant skeleton down, you put your prince behind it or Hog Rider, and just try and get that to the tower. And I've seen people use faster things like goblins and stuff in order to kind of push the giant skeleton forward at a quicker rate. It's going to be interesting to see how that's used, but I do think that change is a positive one for the giant skeleton. And even with the 3 seconds, it's only really going to stop the minions that are directly on top. But if there's still like minions behind it or something, then they will still be killed by the bomb. So who knows? This Tesla right now is my favorite card in the game. It is so strong. It is crazy how it can just counter goblin spears. Like, well, it counters like everything. But the problem with Inferno that you find is that you throw, I don't know, like 6 little minions, like goblin spears and goblins, and the targeting change time just takes so long that it just pretty much makes the push useless, or makes the Inferno Tower useless, just because that'll kill it in itself. So the Tesla I've been using as well as the Inferno, and it's awesome. So I think that this nerf is needed. I think it's been played a lot. And the fact that they're going for the more offense over defense philosophy, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think it should be a more offensive game, and defensive decks should be punished more, and that seems kind of hypocritical considering my deck is super defensive and all about playing the defense. But it's also like frustrating to see like those like mortar decks and other things like that where like at least like throwing out goblin bales and stuff, there's a lot more to counter there. But the rage, this was a weird change for me. I didn't expect to see it. If anything, I expected just a larger buff. And I think this is a buff, because it says, like, rage will last 2 seconds on a troop after it leaves rage's area of effect. And then it says previously rage stuck to troops until the area of effect was gone, which we felt was a bit weird. I don't get what the whole stuck to troops was. I think this is just because like I haven't seen it being played that much, but it, like, I don't, maybe it'll make it better. I don't think so. It just, like, it never really felt like it was that good to me. Like, if you already had a strong enough push to rage it up, I feel like you were going to get that tower anyways. And if you didn't, I never felt like it would give you that advantage to, like, kill all the troops and get to the tower. So who knows? This last thing I guess it is, that other than that donation, which, cool, that's all I gotta say about that, but is the combat mechanics. And this is something, if you're gonna do it at all, you gotta do it before go to launch. That makes sense. But as someone who's played a ton of games, changing the mechanics of the way things work is going to be so frustrating. I'm very annoyed, I guess. I don't like the change. And it's just because right now you know exactly how the troops are going to work. You know if you're going to place this there, the troop is going to come. And that's that. Then you've used your mana, you've made the right trades, and that's that. Like, I think it makes sense, you know? Like, people get used to how the cards work. It's still like, kind of like if you throw your arrows before the goblin bear hits so that when they explode, it can kill it. It's just one of those things that you know how to do after playing the game for a little bit. So the fact that they're changing the combat mechanics so that they won't be pulled as easy, I think it's going to be weird. And the lack of description on how far, like, this is something that almost needs like a video in itself about previously, like, this would pull it away, but now, like, this won't pull it away, but you have to bring it to like here, like 1 block closer or something like that. It confuses me too much. And then also the troops won't target and move towards unit that attack them from far away. I think that's pretty cool. You can drag like princes and stuff like way into like the middle of the between your 2 towers, get both towers hitting on it, and it can get frustrating if you're running those like prince decks. And so I think for the offensive way that they're trying to make this game, it is a good idea to change this. But it's going to it's either going to be like, oh, like, yeah, this was a bit of a stretch and I don't get why these troops are going there, and now it doesn't, or it's going to be like, this was always the way it was, like, felt like it was supposed to be, and now troops just aren't going towards buildings, and like buildings are just taking a huge nerf. So we're going to have to see how that plays out, and it will definitely be something that you should be trying to friendly battle against people in your like clan and stuff, and just trying to get a good feel for the new combat mechanics, just because it could single-handedly lose you the game if you expect something to go to a building and it doesn't. So that's kind of my opinion of the game. And then I think that maybe we'll just hop into one replay, because I know that this video just didn't have any games. So this is against my most recent battle. It was against Carnage, who was actually in our clan before, and then went down to our academy just to, I don't know, like play there for a little bit, and then he was going to rejoin. But I ended up playing against him, and it was a pretty interesting game, because Carnage runs a bit of an interesting deck. I haven't seen it much, and I really like the fact that he doesn't use like one of the, or he uses cards that are unseen, as like Zap and Skeleton Army and stuff like that. So I lightning his Elixir Collector, and I play that Tesla for the Hog Rider, and now I'm just waiting to get back up to my Elixir. That's the thing about when you have an Elixir Collector. You're going to expect that they're going to have an advantage. So the Tesla drags over there, and then I play the Inferno again, and that's, he accidentally zaps, and that was like super unlucky on his part, and I get quite a bit of damage on the tower with that. And then I arrow the minion horde, and I kind of felt bad for him about that play, but I made an equally stupid play further into the game that you'll see that could have lost me the game. So I guess we both made a couple mistakes there. So I'm going to play the Tesla just because it's a great way to counter the skeletons, and then also when he plays that Hog Rider, it just will kill that with the help of the goblins, and he'll just get a couple of spears onto my tower. So right now I'm pretty far ahead. He is like, he doesn't have any elixir collectors down, which is good, so we like saying like the same amount of elixir, and I know that if he does play one, I'll have enough elixir to lightning and then defend. But like a smart player, he puts it on the side that I am not doing damage to. So instead I just had to play the baby dragon, and that was a dumb move. I didn't expect that his minions would be able to kill that so fast, and look at how much damage that does. Oh my god. So it brings my tower down to 498 HP, and it was just so dumb. Like I can't believe that, like, I didn't expect that his would kill my minion, like my baby dragon that fast, because he perfectly positioned like the minion horde all attack at once. They killed in like one minion horde hit, and it was really good on his part. So now I'm definitely not making that mistake again, and I'll arrow those minion hordes. And then I know his tower is super low. It's like within lightning range. So I was able to lightning, and then I get my Tesla down again, and it's back to that control game. And so as you can see, like, my deck will be potentially totally changed by this. And then right at the end there, it gets into sudden death, so I throw out that Goblin Barrel, and I know he has no real way to counter it, and I win. Yeah, but my deck would definitely see a bit of changes to this. It kind of, I'm like what Supercell doesn't want for the most part, just because I like to play the defensive decks, and I feel that like Goblin Barrel and like Lightning and stuff, I just like, I like the whole value trading thing, and you can see in my other videos. Also, something super cool that happened. Okay, so coolest thing that happened to me, this is the official Clash Royale Facebook page, and I was looking through my videos just because I like to check them out. I like to see how they're doing and like what people are saying about them. And one of my videos was just shooting up in views, and I couldn't understand it. And then I come back like an hour later, shot up another 500 views, another 500 views, another 500 views, and I could not figure out why. And so I expected that somebody was probably posting it somewhere, but never would I have guessed that Clash Royale posted my video on their official like Facebook page, and it got over 1,000 likes, and I was just very happy to see that like Clash Royale is doing this, shouting out some of the smaller YouTubers who are trying to make some content and stuff they like. So I'm really happy about that. That was just an awesome thing to see. And I hope you guys enjoy my little review of the upcoming patch, because I think it's going to be awesome, as they all are. I like the change. I like people changing up their decks. I like the meta shifting a bit, just because it gets boring, and that's something that Clash Royale is going to have to keep doing, changing, buffing things, nerfing things, buffing things, nerfing things, and it's never going to end. There's never going to be like a fully equal point, which is good. I think it's good. I like the change, and I cannot wait. But for now, that's it. I'm out, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one. Woo!